Welcome and thanks for joining us for another episode. We're going to be talking today about malicious application activity. So some things that we can be on the lookout for in our applications that might indicate there's some bad stuff going on.
That's true.
That's the episode. I got it all in one take. Thanks for joining us.
Is it doing something weird? If it is, turn it off. Kill it with fire.
That's kind of this first point here, anomalous activity. It's doing something weird.
That's about how it works out, right? Yeah. So let's define anomalous activity. You have application X. Application X is wondrous. You love it. All of a sudden, it starts doing weird things like spiking your CPU or taking up a lot of memory that it normally does not, or it's filling up your hard drive with all sorts of weird data. What's happening here? Why is it making registry entries? That doesn't seem normal. It's never done that before, but now it's decided to. Oh, you know this, devs, they update things, right? That's what it is. I'll leave it alone. Nope. Anytime you see your device doing something odd, when I say your device, I mean your applications, because we're speaking specifically of an application itself. It might not be your operating system or the hardware or anything of that nature. It might very well just be a specific app that is causing your consternation, causing your ire to raise and go, what is it that thou art doing? I don't understand. And then investigations should occur at that point, right? So look for anything out of the ordinary. Sophia, I'm going to kind of bring you into this. Not a big gotcha or anything to that fact, but you've worked with me enough. Mm-hmm. What would you define as, or let me put it this way. How would you know whether or not something was acting anomalously?
I would have to know, I guess, how it is supposed to act normally.
There you go.
In order to know. Because if I never used an application before, I'm not going to know what the normal is.
That's exactly right. And what do we call that?
Being uninformed?
It's being uninformed. Like the act of taking those metrics and saving them.
Oh, you're getting like a baseline.
Baselines. Baselines are the key here. If you don't know what it should be doing and things it should be running, the files that are associated with it, how much normal CPU, how much it takes up, how much normally it takes up with RAM, how much network traffic it normally produces, then there's no such thing as anomalous in your world. It's just, does it do? It reminds me, there's a scene in the IT Crowd. If you haven't watched the IT Crowd and you're in IT, you should be fired. Right? It's a must-see TV where this guy was working in a closet. They discovered that he was there. And he said, what do you do? He's like, I watch this box and it blinks. I don't know what it does, you know? He goes, blink twice. Is that wrong? I don't know. Because he doesn't know. We should not be that guy. His name was Richmond, by the way. We shouldn't be Richmond, where things are happening and we go, is that good? Is that bad? I don't know. Wrong. Our job is to know exactly whether or not it should do that or not. And if it's doing something that is anomalous, ooh, look at that. That's weird. You set up alerts for that kind of stuff. If I see that again, I want to know about it. Let me know. Oh yeah, it did that again. It seems to do this every day at around 2 a.m. And then it continues that hot and heavy CPU, memory, whatever spike for about an hour, and then it goes away. Wonder what that is. Well, it's network activity, along with some CPU spike and memory usage. Cool. Let's start looking at that network activity. What is that? You bring up your Wireshark, you do a capture, and then you look at that data. It seems to be reaching out to one specific thing, and it looks like it's uploading. That's not good. Let's get to work on that. So that's what we mean by anomalous activity.
And another red flag that maybe would raise some suspicions would be the introduction of new accounts, because if you didn't create it or introduce it, it's probably a bad thing, right?
You nailed that one on the head. That's exactly right. New accounts. So sometimes when you install software, it will also create a service account. So that might be there. But again, it goes back to our idea of baselines. You need to know what those are. But especially if you see new user accounts. Oh, es no bueno. Let's jump in, right? Let's go here. I've got a PowerShell session up. You can do something like NetView, and it will show you, not NetView, what am I doing? Users, and it'll show you all the users on your system, right? So I've got administrator, I've got AV service, I've got B. Wayne. If you're going to be anybody, be Wayne. Oh, man. It's the pain in the side, right? Anyway, We've got a guest account. We've also got the Kerberos ticket granting ticket account. Very normal. AV service. Are we familiar with that? What is that? So I can do net user AV-service. And I can see when it was, let's see here. The user doesn't have a full name, doesn't have a comment. Account is active. Account expires never. Password was last set. Oh, that's today. That was not that long ago. Okay, I don't remember creating any accounts there. Tells me when it expires, whether a password is required, whether or not the user may change it, any logon scripts, home profile. You'll notice there's no home profile, no directory, and the last logon was never. Weird. And then it's also in the local administrators group. It's also part of the global group of domain users. That seems odd. What does an AV service account need with global domain admin? So that's something you would want to investigate. Obviously, that's a problem. Jump over to a Linux, do a cat/etsy/password, and I can look through here for all the user accounts. I can see I've got one for Redis. I've got this PolKitD. I've got Kali, which is my actual user, and I can see that it has a login account. A lot of times, one of the best ways to kind of look for if it has a login or not, because it is being used for someone to log in with, is to grep for a shell, like a login shell. So if I grep for something like bash, and I do that from /etsy password, I can see we've got a root user has bash, which is normal. We've got Postgres, which has a login. Interesting that it would have that. We probably want to look at that. And I've got the user Kali, which is the standard user because this is Kali Linux. If I saw something else and I don't understand where that user came from, but yet it has a login. Of course, there are many shells, so maybe you want to do some scripting on this. I could come back and change this to ZSH is very popular as well nowadays. There's also CSH, right? And again, I would script through all the known shells that are typically being used and see, does anything pop up? Let me take a look at that.
Right. Any red flags being raised?
That's right. Don't know this account.
Yeah.
What's that doing there?
Yeah. I didn't put it there.
No.
Somebody did.
Not this guy.
So then another thing that we might want to look out for is any unexpected output, I guess, coming from apps.
Yeah. Weird stuff. I can't even demonstrate this, right?
That's a good way to put it.
So a lot of times, especially if something like a buffer overflow situation has occurred against your application, so maybe it's a network service, and it starts outputting garbled stuff, or it doesn't communicate well. It's doing things, right? So look for normal output, and if it comes out just a bunch of garbled mess or weird characters, anything out of the ordinary from output that you expect, that's going to be like, hey, maybe we need to reinstall. It could just be that the application has gotten wonky. This happens, and it needs an update or it needs to be reinstalled. I actually literally had that problem with Wireshark today. I had to reinstall it, but now it's back to normal. If it kept doing that, that's an indicator of something else is different. Maybe I have a dependency issue, but I need to investigate. I need to figure out why the output that it's generating isn't normal. Why is this not working? Because a lot of times that underlying malicious code that's been injected into the thing is making it go, I do not know what to do with all this. I mean, I'm not breaking, but I'm not working. I'm in some sort of weird limbo. But here's stuff. Enjoy. So you look into that.
You also probably want to be careful about if you see any unexpected outbound communication. That would be communication with what, I guess?
Yeah, with anything.
Oh, okay.
So this most likely network communication.
Gotcha.
Right?
Okay.
So is it talking and who's it talking to? Wireshark's a great one for that. I can do something as simple as a netstat, right? Netstat-ANTUP. And I can look and see what ports and communicate. So I can see here, I've got these established communication channels. This is on my local device, right? Because that's the local host, 127.0.0.1 on port 39862. And that is connecting to port 5000. So I probably have a service or something that's working on that port. I also have an established connection down port 5000. And look at that, it's going to 3982. Okay, something is working together there. I want to say that is PowerShell Empire, a C2 server I have running.
Oh.
Right? So let's keep continuing down this road. What else do I have open? Well, I see that it has port 4444 open and listening. I also want to look for any of these that would be established. Like what is running? Oh, there was one. And that was already there. So nothing crazy going on here. I do have a lot of this 444 stuff going on, which just means that they're not directly communicating right now. They're not passing any information, but they are connected on these ports. And I see a lot of them. Again, I'm running a C2 server and it's talking back to an agent. Therefore, there's just some establishing communications that are happening. They're not directly communicating right now, right? But that would be something I want to look for, and that's how I would do it. That's a great way to do that as well. Wireshark is another one. Look at also the process that is running. If there's anything weird going on with that. In Linux, you can do PS, AUX, and just hit that. And you can kind of see what's going on there, anything interesting. If you see one of these processes with something like a TCP communication or a port designation or an IP designation, what's going on? What are you doing there? Are you starting a service? Are you connecting to a service? Why is all this network communication information here? Want to look for that, okay? Back to the Windows world. One of the things I like to do is pull up process or procmon. It's got myself a little shortcut there and just start looking through what's going on. So I've got the process. I got information that is associated with that, like the path, the operation, the PID, all great stuff. Result on whether or not it was successful. It's a great little time here. So I'd probably just start looking through here and just kind of, do I see anything odd? Does anything stick out in my mind as far as like that? And we got a lot of Explorer going on, obviously. Just kind of scroll through because I actually, hint, spoiler alert, I know there's some weird stuff going on at this. Remember that C2 server I was talking about? we're gonna keep my eyes out. I'm gonna kind of scroll out so I can get a bigger look at this and try to find that traffic. This is probably, it looks like it's in alphabetical order. So let's go way down, way down to Mexico, as old Joe did. Hey Joe, where are you going? It's a Jimi Hendrix song.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. See,
I love working with these youthful children.
I know. I have a lot of learning to do.
Does.
I get homework assignments every week of
I guess I could just.
movies I need to watch and
What
stuff.
is happening here? All right.
Are you having some trouble?
It's just scroll. I know there's like, as I just saw it, and it went past me. We just have to find it. Okay, this is where filters come in handy.
Ah.
Right? So look for something like, I think this is the process name. Bam. If you can't see that, I'm sorry about that. Process name is, and we will go with PowerShell. I think it's like that, .exe. Hit add. And let's see what happens there. Hit apply. There we go. Make our lives a little bit easier here. Whoa. What is that? Oh. There it is.
Yeah, that port 4444.
Last time I ran Procmon, it was like right at the top. Because I was like, expected it to be there again. There we go. I do a little filtering. And it does show you the power of Procmon, that you can filter for certain things and maybe take this a little more of a bite at a time, make it a little easier to digest and work through. But start looking, I'm like, okay, why is this having these communications through PowerShell to this port on this device? What is that device? That is what we're talking about, outbound, unexpected outbound communications. Right?
Okay.
That's a perfect example.
That's an example of it. That's something that might set off some alarm bells.
Oh, yeah, that right there would make me freak out.
But you already knew it was going to happen, so.
I did, but if I saw that and it was PowerShell making that conversation, as soon as I didn't recognize that IP, I'm like, why is that happening?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
You should all, if you see something like that, you should also panic immediately. Just scream and run. So another thing that we want to talk about is if there's any kind of service interruption, that would be something that might set off some alarms.
Yeah, service interruption. So you're running a web server, maybe you're running an FTP server, whatever, file server, and all of a sudden you're starting to get a lot of calls and people saying, hey, here's the thing, can't access that. It could be that the service itself has, I've done this where I've written buffer overflows. I've run the buffer overflow, was able to use it and gain access. And then when I'm done and I exit out, it actually crashes the service. Womp womp. I could do a better job at making sure that threads out better so that it doesn't crash services. But if I'm constantly seeing one service getting crashed, why is that happening? Why am I constantly saying that occurs? Probably because someone's using the same buffer overflow over and over again, or same proof of concept code or whatever that they found on the internet to attack that service, gain access through it. And then when they're done and they disconnect, things break, or they do the wrong command, or they send the wrong thing. Maybe even just the act of trying to connect to it and it's not perfect could cause it to crash. So any service interruption, you definitely want to pay attention to. It could legit be a denial of service attack. You want to have that and be the impetus for you to go, I'm really sick and tired of this service crashing. Or why did it crash? It's normally very strong. Let's take a look at that.
So where do application logs factor into this conversation?
So the application logs are going to tell you what went wrong, right? Okay. So if the service crashed, those logs, the error logs for the application should give you some idea of what was happening at the time that it crashed. And the event logs as well, maybe even security logs if those exist. So look for anything that went on with that application, or if you suspect something to be odd, look in the application logs, the service logs, the event logs, the error logs, to try to help you try to figure out what was going on. If you see a lot of inbound network communication and it was crashing, or it's constantly being probed, well, now you know that some malicious activity is happening, especially if you see stuff going the other way. I got a log making sure that I let you know that I connected to 192.168.202.132 on port 444. Yeah, I'm sorry, you did what again? Right? Why are you doing this? Because I think I should. No. What ran that? PowerShell did, of course, silly. I need a bag to breathe in because I'm freaking out, as you should as well, right? Those are indications that something terrible has occurred and you need to hit the panic button, also known as incident response. Yeah.
As are all of these things we talked about, indications that something terrible may very well have occurred or be occurring,
yes,
or be about to occur, or, all those great things. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's kind of like how you said, sometimes maybe there's a service interruption and it's not anything malicious. But if it's weird, you should probably take a look at it. So
exactly.
It's like going to the doctor. If it's weird, take a look at it. So,
Doc, I got this thing.
Exactly.
Is that normal? Should it be 3 inches long like that?
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it. See, now you won't forget because you'll have that mental image. So thank you for that, Daniel. And thank you for joining us for this episode. We'll see you next time.